What part of the area do you live
I live in.
in? Okay. And welcome to this week's edition of Queen and Company. I'm your host, Queen. And today it is my pleasure and my honor, we're just graced to have Art Fields as our guest today. Bringing the message about Art Fields 2021 is my guest today, Miss Jameson Kerr. How you doing, Jameson?
Good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm excited that you accepted our invitation to come on Queen and Company, where we always say it's the company you keep. So you're like my company today, and I'm in good company.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm happy to be here.
How long have you been working with Art Fields?
So I started as an intern for the second year of Art Fields, and we are going into our 9th year now. So I've been around almost since the beginning. I just missed the first year.
Okay. Yeah. Now, this is a huge event in our community. I consider Lake City, which is part of Florence County, correct?
Yes.
And then we are actually broadcasting live here in studio in Kingstree, right here in the PD. This is all considered the PD of South Carolina. So we're just ecstatic that such a huge event is here in our community.
Yeah.
What made it so that Lake City was the choice for this?
Well, I think that as many people know, we do have a wonderful donor, Miss Darla Moore, who is originally from Lake City.
That's
and
correct.
She came back to Lake City and decided that it was a beautiful place with beautiful people, and there needed to be something to bring people and money back into the town.
Right.
And so they looked at the model of Art Prize, which is based out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. And they do a takeover of the town there as well, and kind of looked at the beneficial parts of that and figured out how it would fit best within Lake City. And so the biggest difference between Art Fields and a lot of other art competitions is the focus on Southern art versus on, international or national competitions.
Exactly.
And the emphasis on Southern art came from a belief that Southern artists weren't getting their stories told the way that a lot of other artists, in New York or LA, we're getting the exposure. And there's just so much here. There's so many beautiful stories to tell that have gone untapped for many, many years. And so Art Fields it's a blend of our love for Lake City and small southern towns and our love for artists who come from towns like Lake City.
Now, I understand it's the largest in the Southeast.
It is. We have anywhere from 300 to 400 pieces of artwork that come from the 12 states we call to.
Can you rattle all those states off? Oh. I saw them when I was visiting your website, and I was just amazed.
Yeah, so I'm going to forget one because you put me on the spot. Arkansas, Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, Kentucky.
Okay. If they come to you as
West Virginia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, Florida, and I've only missed one, I think.
Yeah. So basically, I mean, the
Tennessee,
the southeastern region.
Yeah.
And as you were saying, giving props and love and attention to our Southern artists.
Yeah.
Do you find that the artists get really excited and are just, so happy to be able to attend or submit their work?
Yeah. So I think in the beginning, we were much more word of mouth, getting out there and finding people and telling them about it. And the word kind of spread that way. We've been able to really grow our network on social media and through, advertisements and creating relationships with people throughout those 12 states. And what's really fun is whenever there's somebody who is participating for the first time and maybe didn't quite understand what they were getting themselves into. And they're like, so you're telling me that you're putting my artwork in an ice cream shop. Are you sure?
Yeah.
And yes, we're sure that is what we do. That's Art Field. And then they come and they completely fall in love with the process, with the people. And so there are definitely people who are a little skeptical.
Right. So explain that a little bit more.
Okay.
Give us an explanation of why you're not only incorporating the local artists and the regional artists, but you're incorporating the town and the businesses that are displaying the art.
Yeah. So part of the economic drive with art fields is an effort to get people into the businesses. So, and that helps in two different ways.
Yeah.
So first, it gets people into the businesses during art fields. The people who are looking for the art are finding the businesses through art fields. But
so it's a win-win-win.
Yeah, but it also works the opposite way, where people who maybe are going to get a sandwich for lunch or going to get their hair cut are now being exposed to artwork that they may have been a little bit more intimidated to see going into an art gallery or a museum. So in both directions, like whether you're looking for the business or you're looking for the art, you find the opposite as well. So that's kind of cool. And part of what I think makes art fields so special is that the businesses, the owners of those businesses actually select the artwork that goes in their stores.
Oh, wow.
So we have a lottery system where, it's a big competitive event where everybody draws their number of who gets to pick first. And so they become the gallerist, and they become the ones that are advocates for the artists that are in their stores. Okay. And so many of them have kind of developed a very distinct curatorial style where they've figured out things that they like. And at this point, we can flip through the book of artwork and say, well, this is going to end up here and this is going to end up there, because we just have learned the preferences of some of these businesses.
And I want to back up just a little bit because I want to make sure that everyone is aware of the dates. Yes. So let's get that out there.
Yeah. So Art Fields 2021 is going to start on April 23rd, and it will run through May 1st.
It's a 9-day event.
9 days.
Okay. Now back to the gallery system with the local businesses. What happens to the art once the festival has concluded?
So some of the work will have been sold. And so we, the businesses actually get a commission off of those sales. Wow. And so we work with them to make sure that all of the sales are processed and that we get the work to the buyers. Some of them are picked up. The artists just come back and get them. Okay. We ship back artwork to a lot of people. The top 4 pieces, the top 4 prizes. So we have our grand prize, second place prize, and 2 People's Choice prizes. Those 4 pieces stay with us in Lake City. So we have a collection.
And there's a monetary prize to this.
Oh yeah.
I understand that, the submission process is over. Yes. So you've already made your selections of who's going to be, a part of Art Fields 2021. Yes. But in the future, let's talk about how local artists or artists that you may know, who maybe they're not necessarily close in this area, but someone in some of the states that you mentioned in the Southeast, how can they apply and, get their works submitted?
Each year we open our submissions from September 1st to November 1st. Okay. And that's for an event that will happen in the following spring.
Correct. Great time of year.
Yes, it is. It's kind of fun because it's like just as everything starts blooming, it becomes like a seasonal feeling. Right. That feeling of spring to also be happening at the same time as Art Fields is just so uplifting and fun. But back to the submission. So we have all of the application is all available on our website. It's a $25 fee. But you just have to pick one piece of artwork and and write a bio and a statement. I mean, it's pretty straightforward in what it requires. And then we have a panel of 5 judges that get on the website, and they rate everything from 1 to 10. And so then we take an average of those ratings. And
1 to 10.
And those with the highest scores get in and are invited to come and exhibit.
So about how many artists submit and how many ultimately will be a part of Art Fields?
We don't release exact numbers. It's over 1,000 submissions. And we allow between 300 and 400 to come to Lake City.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yes. And then we also have a junior competition.
I heard about that. So you're involving the youth.
Yeah. So it's just South Carolina students. That one is not for the 12 states.
Okay.
But we have about 200 pieces of student work coming this year.
Phenomenal.
So we'll have nearly 600 pieces of work in like Friday, March 26th. So
they'll start to come in. Yes. The junior art
junior
fields.
And regular art fields
to be displayed.
All of the artwork will start coming in. Comes from all over, and we the art fields team run around town and install it all.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
You got a great team then.
Yes, I do. And it is not just a team of full-time and part-time employees. It's a team of a town. We have around 200 volunteers that help us out. And because we spend all year, as soon as this one's over, we'll take a deep breath and start over. And so we have a team of 5 that works full-time through the year. And then we have 5 part-time employees that help us in the galleries and with some other things. But we have this huge amount of support through our volunteers. And that is one of the most beautiful things about Art Fields, is just to see people from all different walks of life, different ages, different levels of interest in art. Yeah. All come out and help us pull this thing off and, show off that Southern hospitality that we're all real proud of.
I actually relocated here over 20 years ago. And that was one of the main reasons I decided to come south, because I'd always heard about Southern comfort, Southern hospitality, and of course, let's not leave out the Southern gentleman. Don't find all that stuff up north. No. But yeah, and it's true. It's really true. I have had the pleasure of attending Art Fields. This was prior to the pandemic. I want to say between 2 to 3 years ago, and I was floored. I had a great time. It was just so massive, because actually, like you say, with the town getting involved and you're going down different parts of the city, I guess it's the downtown area, and you're just walking along, you're strolling, you're looking at art, you're checking out the local businesses, and I had a blast.
Good.
Now, what happened last year when the pandemic hit? Were y'all able to have Art Fields last year?
So last year was certainly some of the hardest decisions that we've ever had to make.
Sure.
We decided to not go forward with the event. We at first postponed and then ultimately canceled the event.
Yeah. As so many events, everywhere had to do.
Looking back, in the beginning, I think we were all, I'm an optimistic person.
Me too. Me too.
And I was like, you know what? We're going to get this under control. We can do
it.
Maybe we'll do it but
right.
It was
in the best interest of the community and keeping everyone safe. You did not have for last year. So moving forward, we're now in 2021, and we all know that, we've advanced and, we've seen the vaccines come on the scene, and people are, steadily, signing up to get vaccinated. How has Art Fields taken into account that we are still in a pandemic this year?
So, I'll go back to last year for just a second.
Yeah.
Last year, although we did not hold a physical event, we did do a virtual gallery of all the art that was accepted.
Wow. And you still had the prizes awarded?
We did not have the prizes. We didn't feel that it was fair for all artists to make that kind of decision based off of an image online. Right. So, because we have so many different kinds of artwork. Exactly. Some of them are going to appear the same way in a picture as they're going to appear in person, but some of them you really have to see to
especially 3D art.
Right, exactly. So we have we were really excited to be able to showcase those that were accepted into 2020.
How was it received, being that it became virtual?
I think there were a lot of people that were understandably like very upset, but understood that, you know, we really didn't have a choice to.
Right. It was so new to everyone.
Right. And part of the reason that we made the decision was because so many artists were becoming concerned about traveling and bringing their work to Lake City. So it was a mixture of thank you for being responsible and thank you for not putting anybody in harm's way. And you know, other people were very upset and disappointed, but ultimately understood and agreed with the choice that we made. Okay. So for this year, we will still have the virtual experience. We'll still have an online gallery. We're actually, typically we have about 2,000 students that come on field trips, and we have partnered with Nickelodeon to do some classes online, and we're doing a virtual field trip that we're offering to students.
That's wonderful.
So that they can still see all of the student artwork and vote on their favorites and, you know, things like that. So we're looking at what needs to be virtual,
right,
and understanding that art fields really can't exist without the physical event. That is what, you know, if you look at what we are, half of it is an arts organization, half of it is a community organization.
Right.
And to not be able to serve our community by bringing people in we're not going to be able to do that forever.
Exactly.
So
onward and upward.
Onward and upward.
We've revamped it.
Yep.
We've tried to, you know, take into consideration what's going on in the world and, you know, the pandemic and what have you. Let's talk about art, just in general art. Okay. And I want to share this quote with our listeners today. It's by Elizabeth Braun, who we found out was involved with the Smithsonian out of DC, an art historian. And she says, art is not always about pretty things. It's about who we are, what happened to us, and how our lives are affected. And still on the subject of what we're going through as a global community with the pandemic, it actually has forced everyone to be more creative in how they do anything.
Oh, yeah.
Therefore, your virtual event as well.
Yeah. Innovation certainly comes out of difficult times and, you know, difficulties. Nobody would have to think outside the box if the box was working, you know, if everything was
stayed the same. Right.
So, you know, it's pushed us. And I think, you know, what did people do whenever they were quarantining at home? A lot of them watched TV or listened to music or read books.
Right.
All of that is art. And,
there you go.
And I think that what has been the most difficult, obviously, there's a lot of tragedy associated with COVID.
Oh my God, yes, definitely.
So many people have
our
passed
hearts
away.
Go out.
Yeah. But for those who maybe were not touched by it directly, I think that the impact of not being around people and that loss of human connection has been such a difficult piece of this. And art, that's what art is. It is human connection. It's relating to each other and speaking to each other, maybe not in words, but in a visual or or written in a book.
Exactly.
And so I think that we will find what is essential to humans, because that's what we will work to get back first. And being, you know, there's a lot of stuff in the news about grandparents finally being able to see their grandchildren again, you know, because of vaccinations. And that's what makes your heart so happy. And it's being together. And so we have art that I think captures that and does that. But we also have this event that is a community coming together and discussing the art that they see and discussing, you know, I I see this and I recognize that feeling. And some of those universal things are represented in the work that will be on display.
Do you think that everyone has an artist inside of them?
Yes. I think that the trick is recognizing where your artistry is.
What medium, what platform?
Right. Because, I mean, there are people that work on cars in a way that is art, you know, that that is their art. And I think that it's so empowering to try and turn it to people that way and show them that there's art in conversation. There's, you know, there's art.
You're a girl after my own heart.
There's art in the way that you walk around. I mean, dancing and singing. And I think all of the best things in life have a little bit of art to them. So it's just about recognizing that in yourself and helping others to see it that way.
So will we see not just visual art, but performance art as well?
So we will have music. We always have music at Art Fields.
I enjoyed the music y'all had when I attended.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Well, thank you. We don't have quite as much this year because those are the events that we have to be the most careful about. Right. And so we have a big finale night planned, but we've worked with some other organizations in the community. The Lake City Concert Series is going to partner with us and present a concert one night. One of our local gyms, Life Change Fitness, is going to do a big Zumba dance off on the green one night. And so, like you said,
see, I want to come all 9 days. Well, I mean, you just have something every day that's going to be so wonderful.
Yeah, it's
what an experience.
Yep. And then we have like around town, we'll have different musical groups kind of dispersed around town on the weekends. And part of what we're doing this year is leaning on the businesses to create their own kind of set of events.
Wow.
Because
so everybody's getting involved. I mean, you haven't left out anybody.
No.
Yeah.
No, everybody
the children
is involved.
On up, like you say, grandparents are, revisiting with their families and what have you. Yeah. So that is just amazing. And I would encourage anyone who has, get their schedule together. Announce the dates one more time.
April 23rd through May 1st.
9-day event. That is just so phenomenal. We're so privileged and happy and blessed to have you right here in our own backyard. Studio 21 is here in King Street. That's just a 10-minute drive, 15-minute drive to Lake City. Just all the surrounding areas, just need to come out and participate and show, there's love out there for our artists who are artists always struggling? Is it true that they're starving?
I think that there are certainly those who sacrifice a lot of the comforts that a lot of us have in order to really just focus on their practice. Right. There are also many of them that work as professors or work in art galleries or, work several jobs to be able to paint when they can paint or sculpt when they can sculpt. But I do think that artists, they do give up, a lot. And in exchange, they give us a lot.
Exactly.
And so we certainly want to support them and to celebrate them. I think one of the coolest parts about the Art Fields Junior competition is, at awards day at school, there are lots of athletic awards. There are lots of academic awards.
Right.
To be able to tell somebody, hey, you're really good at drawing, or you've got a really good grasp on sculpture or anything like that, and to celebrate that and to encourage that. We need those kind of people in the world. They don't all end up being working artists, but creativity and the discipline that it takes to be an artist. A lot of discipline. So many of these things are what build a good person and a good worker and a good employee later on in life. And so, and confidence too. Not everybody gets recognized for being good at that kind of thing. So we're really proud to be a place that celebrates that talent.
And art, even though we discussed earlier that Miss Elizabeth Braun, an art historian, said that art is not always about pretty things. Sometimes it's the things that we are going through, like such as, give a great example, the pandemic and the loss that we all have experienced with that. But through art, it can be spun positively. A lot of people now they're really struggling with so many different things that we're going through, the economy, blah, blah, blah. And some people we know have taken a turn for the worse.
Oh, yeah.
And especially in their thought processes, their emotions. And when you combine, obviously, your thoughts, a lot of people are naturally gifted. Others are formally trained. And then your emotions and what have you. And then you can take that and you can create these beautiful works of art. That's what we want to, let people know. There's a positive way to deal with anything.
Yep.
Grief, loss, bad economy, all of these things. So we really do want to support our artists who can give us a new perspective, give us a new vision, show us that everything will be all right. It just sometimes takes time, a lot of prayer, and like you say, community events like this that are committed to making sure that everyone is included, everyone has a spot, everyone has an opportunity, and if you're just an art lover, then this is a great event for you.
Yeah, and all of that, everything that you said is so spot on, and I think that right now, just letting everybody know that they're not alone.
Yeah.
And there's been so much isolation in the last year, and to show that
everyone is tired of quarantining.
Everyone is tired of it, and everybody feels it, and that those feelings are not invalid. They're real, and you are allowed to feel those things, and this is how this person is dealing with it. And maybe art fields can make people feel like they're part of something again.
Exactly. And like I said, I can't understate that because this comes like on the verge of spring. It's just a great time to get out, see the art, support the local communities, support the businesses, and just be inspired, educated, informed. All of those things come into my mind when I think of art fields. What a great event. And like I said, it's so right here. If you're in Florence, if you're in Lake City, if you're in Kingstree, or in all the surrounding areas of the PD, and all in the state as well, because this is a state event. This is a southeastern event that everyone should know about. And that's why I was like, I gotta get them on. I gotta talk to them. Let people know.
Yeah. Well, we're so appreciative for the time and the opportunity to speak about art fields. It's a big passion project. And
you look happy.
Am.
When you're happy in your work and you love what you do, this is what it looks like. Jameson Kerr with Art Fields 2021. Yeah. Look at that smile. Is there anything else that you would like people to know about the event that's coming up in roughly 2 to 3 weeks?
About a month.
So
give me another week.
Okay.
Just if anybody is interested in being a part of Art Fields, our website is www.artfieldssc.org. And we would love to have you come out and participate, be a spectator. But if you are pretty local, we would also love to have you as a volunteer. I think it's a really rewarding experience that gets you kind of behind the scenes to see what all it takes and to represent our area really well to all the visitors who are coming.
We're really blessed to have Art Fields. And like I said, I went that one year and I just loved it. This time of year, I'm actually waiting for it. I'm like, when is it going to start? When is it? What are the dates?
Yeah.
So again, the dates.
April 23rd through May 1st.
Does it start on what specific night? or
it's
day?
A Friday night, the 23rd.
Friday night?
Yep.
Okay.
We actually will do a ribbon cutting at about 11 a.m. and we'll be open all day. And then we have music all around town that night. So it's our Dandelion Stroll is what we call it.
Right.
Yeah.
And we know we still have people who are, in the workplace and what have you, but it looks like you've got 2 full weekends.
Oh, yeah.
So, make some plans to come out.
And during the week, we're open until 7. So, even if you're working 9 to 5, there's still a couple hours after work that you can come out and check things out. And yes, we have 2 weekends. And we're just excited to see it.
Living for the weekend.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Let's talk about artist submissions again, because again, we're looking forward to the next year, which will be 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk to our artists now one more time about how they can be a part of this.
Okay. So if you are an artist who's interested in participating in art fields, next year would be a great one because it's going to be our 10th year.
Yay!
Just
anniversary.
Crazy. I love it.
Yeah.
So you can pick a piece of artwork that you feel like would be a strong contender and submit September 1st through November 1st, 2021 for Art Fields 2022. It's all on our website. It's a pretty easy process, but if you have any issues, we are always there to help. No question is a dumb question because we've heard them all.
Is there a good phone number?
Yes. You can call our office anytime. It's 843-374-0180.
All right. And with that being said, I want to thank you once again for coming out, Jamison Kerr. Y'all were so, just so gracious to come out, join me for Queen and Company. This is actually our first show. It will not be our last. I want to let you know about our next guest for next week. We're always here about this time on Mondays. And I have a very interesting topic for next week. It's going to be the CCC group. And I just spoke with the director of this great organization, and she talked to me a little bit about trauma yoga. So this is a counseling service. From what I understand, this is an underserved community. A lot of things that our people need here. They need people like, obviously, Art Fields, to do their spectacular 9-day event here in the spring. But we also need people who are able and willing to help others who are struggling. So again, join me next week about the same time, same place, right here, waen-tv, Studio 21. I am Queen with Queen and Company, where we always say it is the company you keep. Until next time, thank you so much for joining us.